This dude thought there was gonna be like an autistic uprising if we just stopped funding people. He was predicting the American Revolution edition. Like, you gotta be kidding.
I'll never forgive the troglodytes who stole the future I earned to prolong—
That he earned? He writes blogs. He makes stupid skit YouTube videos. How did you earn that, Bob? Total Bob domination. He's a total fucking lolcow. It's really funny, actually.
You're suing a man and you end it with a fucking dog hitting a fucking drum!
Oh, I'm fucking mad.
Cops is filmed on location with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
I haven't heard anything about MovieBob in years. Okay, MovieBob is like a dead channel I didn't think I would ever hear from ever again. A gamer from Mars put together a video about him. I'm shocked by this. Genuinely. Razorfist destroyed MovieBob. Well, Razorfist is apparently also a massive pussy. So, like, I don't know what's going on with the Razorfist stuff. People are saying he's a pedophile. People are saying that he's a loser. You know, like, people are saying that he's too soy to handle criticism against him. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I'm pretty sure Fratanga Plays is covering that stuff. If you want to know about the Razorfist. Okay, I'm really tired of the computer doing that, but that, whatever. I'll deal with it.
Hard. No! No! Does not compute! Does not compute! It does not compute!
I oddly look back fondly at my teenage years for being at the ground floor of watching early YouTubers. Back in those days, the platform, along with companion sites with embedded—
Ah! It's the Lightbringer! Master of everything! The Lightbringer has graced us with his presence. Remember, guys, if we hit 100,000 subscribers at one point, I will read the entirety of the Lightbringer on this channel, okay? I will read the entirety of the Lightbringer on my YouTube channel. If you sub to this channel, you get 100,000 subs and 1,000 recurring members. Those are my two conditions. And I will read the entire book. I will find it. I will scour web forums to find the Lightbringer to show you guys. What is that? Oh, just to give you guys a quick rundown on the Lightbringer. The Lightbringer was a comic made by a YouTuber known as Linkara. Linkara reviews comic books and movie media and video games. Thought it was 20K? Yep. Excuse me, I meant 20,000. So 20K subs will do. Thank you, Jax, for reminding me. 20K subs on the YouTube channel will do that, and 500 recurring members. There we go. That will be my conditions to be met. Linkara wrote a comic book before he ended up being Linkara. And the comic book involves rape, rip-offs of the Green Lantern and Batman. What else? There's a section of the town called Horville. Incredibly misogynistic and single-handedly the worst piece of media ever released to human consumption. So, if you want to read that together, it is the funniest thing ever written. We need to get to 20K subs.
Needs the Lightbringer.
We need to get to 20K subscribers.
Blip.tv videos were filled with unhinged media critics, with game and movie reviews being one of the first notable genres of online video content in the 2000s. While most of the smaller names in the genre have been forgotten to time, one that lingers in the online lexicon is MovieBob. But what makes this middle-aged man—
Spoonie was great. Spoonie was a great character. He was a great creator, and he destroyed himself. He destroyed himself, and then the women around him accused him of, like, horrible shit.
And so controversial? Well, today we'll find out. Bob Shipman started his online aspirations in the form of a blog all the way back in 2005. It was a place—
What happened to Spoonie? Best option is to watch Jim's videos involving the Channel Awesome stuff, and the specific video is about Spoonie 1. Spoonie became an embarrassment to the Channel Awesome website for screaming betrayal at the top of his lungs at a video game event. Then, come to find out, he was a total dick to everybody. There was allegations that he was, like, abusive to his girlfriend at the time, or, like, sexually harassing people on set and at the office. And then after all that happened, Spoonie became an alcoholic and, like, destroyed his life.
Place to share his musings on films, the industry, and sometimes politics. This led him to coin the alias MovieBob, introducing himself on his profile in the third person. Bob is a part-time independent filmmaker, a part-time amateur film
Yeah, literally the gym video puts it together way fucking better than I ever could.
critic, and full-time movie geek. He is heterosexual, a Pisces, and a severely lapsed
I fucking love blogs from like the fucking early 2000s. I love these so much. He's a heterosexual, a Pisces, and a severely lapsed Catholic. It's like a terrible Tinder profile. Like, what the fuck? I love it so much.
Catholic. He is a tireless enemy of censorship, considering his personal politics a libertine, and enjoys acting as a full-time irritant to overly serious people of all political stripes. Even 20 years later, this description is fairly fitting. It didn't take long for him to venture out into video content, creating a YouTube channel in 2006. He was one of its earliest creators, with the site only existing for a year. Bob posted new reviews on both platforms regularly. He was able to keep up this consistency for years, which paid off by the turn of the decade. But before we go any further in today's video, his first
You can hate Gamer from Mars all you want. I like him.
break wasn't in
He's been nothing but nice in the small, brief moments that I've interacted with him.
film discussion, surprisingly, but a series he created in 2008 called The Game Overthinker. It focused on video game analysis with his signature fast-paced narration.
I thought about starting this off with some sort of introduction, but honestly, you don't care. Many thanks if you were pretending to care anyway, but we both know you don't. Your first question is not who is this guy, but rather what sets this guy apart from every other f***ing game culture video rant guy on the web, and rightly so.
This caught the attention of ScrewAttack.com, a titan in early gaming content. Their spotlight quickly netted each episode of Bob's series thousands of views. Mr. Chipman was compared to other creators at the time, like the
I'm curious. Blake said, I actually like you better than the angry video game nerd. How do you like MovieBob over the angry video game nerd? That is fucking insanity to me. No place to comment on the first videos that do not appear on the blog spot, so I'll just say I've enjoyed them all. Though I wish you would take back that blasphemy you said about Zelda 2. If you wanted to criticize a game, Phantom Hourglass will suffice. Dude, I love this shit. I love how autistic the internet was in 2008. It's like such medial shit. And it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. People are just using less slurs. I fucking miss that.
angry video game nerd and zero punctuation. The latter, made by Ben Yahtzee Crenshaw, was
Bro, Yahtzee. I like Yahtzee. Yahtzee's goated. Yahtzee's goated. I don't care what people say. The zero punctuation entity, not the zero punctuation entity. It was the Escapist. The Escapist was dog shit, but I will always support Yahtzee.
posted on a site called The Escapist. By 2008, Yahtzee's videos were garnering millions of views, which
This dude fucking changed the game when it came to criticism back in the day.
bolstered the outlet's traffic by 394%, getting him hired by the online magazine full-time. With such lucrative returns, it wasn't long until The Escapist
Yeah, he left The Escapist and now he's on Second Wind, and the owner of Second Wind, from what I've heard, I'm pretty sure I covered it, but I never made it a clip. If I remember correctly, the owner of Second Wind is like a doxing maniac, and he can't handle criticism, and they're accusing him of like stealing money from people or something like that. Yahtzee has no involvement that I'm aware of, but the guy who owns it is completely insane.
began looking for other promising up-and-comers. This search for new talent brought them to MovieBob, who was first contacted a year later. For a while, gaming remained his focus, with most fans watching The Game Overthinker. Like many at the time, he introduced storylines around his exaggerated persona. It began in episode 43 with the appearance of his evil doppelganger, the Anti-Thinker.
Bro, the skits. Can we talk about how great the skits were back in the day? I'm having like a nostalgia moment. When you were like coming home from fucking school, man, and you were like, man, I want to watch like a dumb YouTube video, you just put on one of these like Linkara fucking what is it? Nostalgia critic style videos. The skits were terrible, but they were like so bad they were funny. You know what I mean? That's where I got my love of like D-rated and shitty movies, is like watching these guys.
I think I need to back up by saying he fits many of the stereotypes of the era. The nostalgia critic and those inspired by him would feature drawn-out skits with a slew of different characters, which were usually just them in different costumes and wigs. This similarly gradually became the focus of Bob's show.
Although your primary function is to provide commentary on games and game culture, about a year ago you were attacked by the Anti-Thinker, your evil double from an alternate universe.
The fucking effects, dude.
Commentary on games and game culture, about a year ago you were attacked by... the anti-thinker, your evil double from an alternate universe.
It's just a scene transition with a flash. I love that show. I love that shit.
You defeated him, but the battle ripped the hole in the space-time continuum, allowing creatures and powers.
The fucking the canon lore for these skits were always insanity. Atop the fourth wall made by Linkara is still maybe my favorite shitty skit movie of all time.
From the video game world to cross over into the human world.
The series eventually reached over 50 episodes, with a loyal audience on both YouTube and Screw Attack. For The Escapist, he created a new show called Escape to the Movies.
Kick-Assia. If I can find Kick-Assia, I'm kinda down to watch it.
Often received multiple uploads a week, accompanied by a written column. This is where Bob would sometimes break character to discuss a real-world issue.
He's got to talk about Iraq. I love this. Frequent readers and people who know me probably are probably aware that I have, let's call them, issues with the war in Iraq. Specifically, I think it was horrible tactical blunder, and more so, I don't see any evidence that the now targeted endgame, i.e. a nation overwhelmingly dominated by violent, religious, manic tribalists to simply skip centuries of cultural evolution to go directly from killing one another of those goes to the right church to Jefferson democracy in a few years, can realistically be achieved even if we do manage to stabilize the day-to-day operations. We should leave, is my opinion, with the recognition that this cannot be done at once, and that we'll probably continue to have bases and there, same as we still do in Japan and Germany, of course. But we should be focusing on how best to end the military occupation proper. Now, normally I also agree, let's just pull out of Iraq, fuck it. But it's really funny watching somebody write something like this. This is funny to me.
It's clear he had a lot more to say than these alter egos allowed. The habit was rewarded in 2010 when the mag gifted him a second series named The Big Picture.
You know, when the Escapists told me they wanted me to do another show for them, I couldn't quite process what was going on. But when they said it could be a show where I just get up on my soapbox and say whatever I want about whatever
that is the worst decision that the Escapist has ever done.
random nerdy thing is on my mind at the moment, while these pop art representations of my fractured psyche spell out my emotional state, it all became crystal clear. I am working for crazy people. And it's awesome.
This allowed him to rant about a broader range of topics, as well as be more personal with fans.
Donald Trump pretending to run for president as a publicity stunt for his crappy reality show does not bother me.
Man, this aged so poorly. This aged so poorly.
Rich idiots with no taste wasting their money pumps billions back into the economy. Always has. What does bother me is that the make-believe joke candidate isn't really acting or speaking all that differently from some of the real candidates.
An early episode, Magneto Was Right, had Bob open up about his childhood.
So, as a kid, I was bullied. Most severely in grade school, but still...
Shocking. A guy that does movie reviews on YouTube was bullied in school? Crazy. That's totally... I would have never guessed!
Plenty in high school, just not as physically because I suddenly turned into one of the tallest in my class. I didn't react to it too well, even to the point of occasionally becoming a genuine scumbag myself in projection, something I regret to this very day. Straighter than Brad Majors, whiter than Billy Quizboy's business partner. What had my...
Wait, how does he not know Pete White's name?
...crime against the standing social order been?
That led him to conclude the bullies were simply...
He makes a pretty compelling Luigi.
...intimidated by his superiority.
It's not just that they don't understand you, it's that they're intimidated by you. And your bullies aren't just wrong, you could make them pay for it. After all, the oppression of nerds by normals thing kinda ends once you're out of the cesspit of high school and into the adult world, right? Or does it? Think about the way the popular culture, even today, demonizes different people of extraordinary ability, particularly extraordinary intellect or outside the mainstream artistic vision.
Bob...
I'm sorry, it's just so funny hearing something like that. Because basically what he's trying to build is like an argument as to what he perceives himself to be, from what I could gather from that explanation. People love nerdy shit. When you hit an adult, nerd shit is normal. Everyone's got their own nerdy fucking thing, man. It's just so funny that he like perceives himself as some kind of like intellectual superhuman when he was just reviewing media.
Then reveals he still desired revenge, and this torment had shaped his entire worldview to this very day.
To say that I'm not over it would be an understatement. I don't think there's...
How do you not get over your bullying in school? You're a grown man. You're a grown man. How do you not get over it?
There's an aspect of my existence or psychology that isn't colored in some way by a lingering...
Did he get, like, beaten in school? Like, how do you not let it go in your 30s? Even in your 20s, how do you not let it go? How do you go to college and still hold that, like, lingering hate?
Desire to somehow get back not only at all those who were cruel to me, but at the whole overriding social system that allowed it to happen in the first place.
Why does he sound like a school shooter now? He's like, I want to get back at them. And I want to get back at society for allowing it.
Which I acknowledge is both sad and the worst possible way to deal with something like this, but
I am glad you acknowledge that, but it's just interesting. It depends on the type of autism you have. If society approves, greater research, or be a professor, love trades, live at home with mom. It's kind of true.
whatever.
Thankfully, he was now working his dream job writing about movies, video games, and comic books. However, these attitudes were scrutinized as he became more outspoken on politics. He started a show to discuss contemporary issues called American Bob. With some of his stated positions, it would be easy to label him left-wing. However, in a Q&A, he clarified his only alignment was whatever benefited him the most in the moment.
Political affiliation, whatever benefits me or the small list of stuff that me actually cares about most in any given situation.
This wasn't just an offhand remark.
I'm curious what's written here. I get asked to do the what do you think about blank regarding my personal politics from time to time. More so now because it's an election year. Bosh? But I also get a lot of feedback that I keep such things off my main page. I don't really see why. Everything has a political dimension. Oh no, he was one of these people. Everything has a political dimension. Everything. Is me laughing at you and how retarded you are a political dimension in some facet? Like, I don't get people that do that. Where they turn around and go, everything is politics. Politics affects everything. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't affect everything. It doesn't infect all media. It doesn't affect all content. It doesn't affect all culture. Like, it does sway certain things, certain ways, but you don't have to conform to that. You don't have to buy into the fact that everything is fucking political. If you're having a dinner at a restaurant, do you think of the politics of the restaurant that you're eating there? So the idea I have some expectation of an apolitical presentation simply because a site is about movies instead of live feed from Congress or whatnot seems silly to me. Oh God, no wonder people started to hate you. But let it never be said that I am not accommodating. If you don't want the discussion of anything important to interrupt your day, feel free to stop reading this paragraph and go watch a funny cat video. Oh my God, he was already fighting with his audience back then. Let's see here. Not my joke, acknowledged, or whatever. So pretty much every time I see, I have to say, vis-a-vis politics, people either try to figure out where I stand or assume they know. And a whole back and forth can be a little tiresome. So hopefully, just this once, I'm going to explain as best as I am able where I'm coming from. Bookmark it for later if you wish, especially if you're going to nitpick everything I've said for a decade plus on the web, looking for hypocrisy that never gets old. Dude, this guy is crazy. This dude was a proto Lolcow when he was at his peak. I'll do this in the form of an arbitrary numbered list. If good enough for the winner of a presidential debate, it's good enough for me.
Later went on record to state he literally didn't have any morals, as the idea didn't make sense to him. While he voted Democrat, he wasn't a liberal and felt, we do not all matter equally or at all. It just logically made more sense to help others, so the subjugated wouldn't take revenge. While I'm accepting of natural selection and a chaotic universe, I'm also accepting of reality. Even if you were cold and inhuman enough to cut the disadvantaged, undereducated, homeless, mentally unwell, etc. loose from help to fend for themselves, it's not going to work. These people will not simply die off or disappear. The species is too resilient for that. They will survive. They will organize in one form or another, and they'll likely exact a certain amount of payback upon
This dude thought there was gonna be like an autistic schizophrenic uprising if we just stopped funding people. He was predicting the American Revolution retard edition. Like, you gotta be kidding.
On those who decided to cut them loose, which they will deserve. This talk of natural selection doesn't pair well with tweets like this from around the same time. There are days when my fondest wish is that eugenics hadn't been tainted as a science by racists and Nazis. You call them weekdays.
You do realize that eugenics can be taught within the facet of not Nazis or racists. There's a way to explain eugenics and physical defining features between different aspects of humanity that can be handled in a professional and non-racist way, correct? Go to college, learn about anthropology or physical archaeology or anything like that, and they will teach you eugenics in a non-Nazi manner.
There are times when I really hate that Jim Crow-era racists pretty much ruined the idea of intelligence tests for voting.
Okay, I actually kind of agree that people need to take an intelligence test to vote.
Are you
No, I'm
being
kidding,
said
I'm
by
kidding,
a
I'm
Nazi
kidding.
or MovieBob? Next.
I'm kidding. It's just, I feel like we should need smarter voters and people that are actually smart to vote, but that's not true American freedom.
I'm not a philosopher. What I want is a better world, moving forward. Whatever gets me there, within reason, is what I support. However, these specific remarks went unnoticed, with most of the backlash he received at the time being towards his stances on political correctness.
Say something bigoted and hurtful, and if anyone calls you on it, no worries. Just accuse them of trying to enforce political correctness. Suddenly, they're the bad guys, and you're a mighty warrior for free speech.
In 2013,
Oh no! Oh no! The mistake of a lifetime on the internet. Talking about how people that say crazy shit and then turn around and go, when they get shit on, invoke free speech. You're making this an argument? Oh no. Oh no, it's Anita. Oh, this ugly bitch! Oh!
Bob sided
You know, Boogie bullied her to almost committing suicide. Man, what a world. What a world if that... Never mind.
with feminist
Desi might be safe.
critic Anita Sarkeesian. He made a video praising tropes versus women, calling her detractors trolls and miscreants. Later that year, he attended one of her lectures in person.
Trolls and miscreants! Trolls!
Behind all the digital fog, the reality is simply one more young woman who loves video games but simply wants what others have and take for granted, and what she concludes that games won't allow most women to do: love them unconditionally. This stance only strengthened with the start of a hashtag called Gamergate, an online movement meant to address ethics in video game journalism, or was a harassment campaign against women in gaming, depending on who you talk to. It was sparked by an affair between developer Zoe Quinn and 5 guys in the industry. Bob was firmly in the anti-camp, labeling it a harassment campaign against...
He was against the initial reasoning of Gamergate, which was the Zoe Quinn stuff. That's where he put his flag. It wasn't something later on. It was specifically the Zoe Quinn stuff. Okay, so right up front, I feel like I need to say that I'm posting this to my own blogs, on my own time, under my own name, and my own name only, because it's 100% coming from me. It's got nothing to do with any person I work for, or any of the websites, outlets, etc. my work appears on. Nobody asked me to write this. Nobody asked me to write it. And you shouldn't take anything I have to say as either endorsements or rejections of anything any other person or entity has said, or said on the matter. Personally, or as a matter of policy. Being a grown-up, I'm perfectly capable and willing to work for and alongside people who disagree with me, so as long as it's amicable and mutually respectful. I have done so in the past, and I expect to do so in the future. I love this. The hashtag Gamergate thing would seem to have gotten wildly out of hand, but that implies that it was ever in hand to begin with. Ooh. See, Gamergate was not a bad thing in the beginning. It was not a bad thing. Given the entire thing being with a jilted boyfriend posting still yet unproven allegations of his girlfriend cheating on him to the internet, and only became a gaming story because the accused was an indie developer.
Against his colleagues. He then made a series of tweets lamenting that the fictional characters Mario and Link would be ashamed at what gamers had become.
That's like a Christian thing to do. You know, Link and Mario would be really disappointed, all you guys that are making fun of Zoe Quinn. How dare you? Your favorite video game characters would be very mad with you. We're supposed to be better than this? There's no Triforce of Pettiness. There's no gym badge for hate. That is the cringiest fucking thing I've ever heard.
We are supposed to be better than this. There's no Triforce of Pettiness. There's no gym badge for hate. I look at how gamers treated Zoe Quinn, will continue to treat Sarkeesian, all of that. What would Mario and Link think of us?
I love that.
Our heroes should be ashamed of us. The next Smash Bros. Cinematic should be a bunch of iconic characters looking away in shame.
What the
We're supposed to be better than this, better than all of this. I just need to stop to swear he is not trolling in any of these statements.
He's totally being real. I believe that. Can we go back and like look at this? I can't.
Better than all of this. I just need to stop.
I love this. I love this so much. Thank you, Captain C, for the 20.
3, Chris versus
Thank
Leon,
you, brother.
Black versus white.
Okay.
Master versus
Okay.
slave.
Okay.
Loser
Okay.
goes back to the fields for
Okay.
one generation.
Okay.
Also, AVGN, Nostalgia Critic and Linkero were great. I remember when AVGN was the angry
Yeah, me too.
when I tell the cartel member Goku isn't proud of him for abducting me.
You guys are being funny right now. Oh my god. I love this.
MovieBob to a cop. Are gonna meet Spider-Man and Link.
I love this so much. We'll continue to treat Sarkeesian, all of that. What would Mario and Link think of this? I swear to God, this is a Chris Chan level tweet. This is like when Sonic comes in from the dimensional merge, he's gonna be very disappointed with you. Like, that's what I read this as. I read this in Chris Chan's voice.
Of us. Our heroes should be ashamed of us. The next Smash Bros. Cinematic should be
Our heroes would be ashamed of us. The next Smash Bros. Cinematic universe should just be a bunch of iconic characters looking away in shame. Bro, it's literally on par with Chris Chan.
a bunch of iconic characters looking away in shame. We were supposed to be better than this, better than all of this. I just need to stop to swear he is not trolling in any of these statements. If that wasn't enough, Bob then feuded with Total Biscuit, a commentator
Oh god, Total Biscuit. Can't wait to report on your death!
that often criticized Anita and refused
Still the one with one of the most iconic things I've ever seen. That is the clip that made me know who Keemstar was. Fuck it. Can't wait to report your death!
to condemn Gamergate. Thing I resent. Lumping all gaming video reviewers and YouTubers in with Total Biscuit. Yeah, he's a clown, but there's
Total Biscuit was goated. Never speak ill on the goat.
a lot of good people in that field doing good work. Angry Joe is legit.
Angry Joe is legit. Wow. Dude, this really was like back in the day when Angry Joe was like a respected fucking YouTube channel. Jim Sterling! Excuse me. It's Stephanie Sterling now if you're gonna be a fucking woke piece of shit about it. Dude, Jim Sterling. That is somebody that I used to watch. And I haven't watched in years. But I've heard nothing good about what happened to Jim Sterling. Nothing. I've heard nothing good. Nothing positive. I've heard nothing but bad things about what happened to Jim Sterling. If somebody ever makes like an in-depth video on Jim Sterling's history, which I think somebody should do. I don't think anyone's done like a long, in-depth documentarian style video on Jim Sterling, and I would be willing to fucking watch that. I'd be willing.
legit. Jim Sterling is legit. Screw Attack is legit.
Many feminists f***ing love sex.
This is where problems started to arise behind the scenes. You see, while Bob was aligned with most of the industry, the Escapists weren't. They allowed discussions on their forums, and were
Alright, so I can't tell if I'm being trolled by this individual or not, but they said they'll do it. Oh, they actually said it was a good idea for a project. Sweet! In the future, there may be a deep dive Jim Sterling YouTube video, and I will watch the fuck out of that.
were sympathetic to the divisive campaign. A notable instance is when they platformed a dev that suggested hacking Zoe Quinn's email. In February 2015, the Escapists declined to renew Bob's freelance contracts, ending their near-decade-long professional relationship. His shows were to continue under new titles, namely The Big Screen and In Bob We Trust. The reason for his departure was unclear at the time, although he elaborated in a post 6 months later. I have in fact become a bit more enlightened as to opinions held and things said about me and my work. Persons, or perhaps just person, that I have naively considered friends or at least a good faith.
Ooh, the illusion. The illusion's killing me, dude. You know what's crazy?
2016 Ghostbusters remake is when the pop culture war truly began.
Yeah.
And we won.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I have no idea what's gonna happen next. Like, does he get accused of, like, rape? Like, what happened to him?
To business partners that leave me deeply suspicious about the circumstances of my departure, and profoundly disappointed in their behavior of persons. I'll leave it at that. It's unclear who this was, although an ex-contributor blamed the site's parent company Defy Media for its leanings. Bob was furious, vowing to never forget whoever had wronged him. I have nothing but hatred in my heart for every force and circumstance
Every time that gamer from Mars shows me like a blog post he made, it sounds like he's gonna shoot up a school. Like, it never sounds normal. You ever heard of the person on the internet called Leslie Clark? No, I have not.
That led to its loss. That's probably a little immature.
Maybe I have, actually. That name sounds weirdly familiar to me.
But it is what it is. I work hard to expel pain from my psyche, but the memories of people and things who have wronged me and mine I keep for a long, long time. This was followed by the end of the Game Overthinker, which concluded after its 100th episode. He was proud to have concluded the series on his own terms, the way he wanted to. It centered around him.
Thank you for the $1.99 pizza boy.
Questioning his gamer identity, with a heavy focus on Gamergate.
Consider what? I didn't start Gamergate or any of the other stupid outbursts that came before it. All I've ever tried to do is fight that mindset.
No, you didn't create it. You only trained it and armed it.
What are you talking about?
Don't get snippy on me now, Overthinker. You're here to learn something, and this is it.
The video attempts to examine how the gamer identity was formed in the first place.
The gamer identity was formed because of a bunch of fucking losers that love to play video games. We are gamers, okay? That is it. I hate that people, like, attribute it to something else. I'm gonna Minecraft a Walmart, yo.
But the bizarre presentation only invited widespread ridicule. Nothing like hearing where Gamergate
oh god, Jim.
It came from explained by a man who had no part in it, yet somehow manages to feed its origins into his Messiah Complex video series. Meanwhile, Bob was in the process of releasing the MovieBob Anthology. It was a collection of books he self-published over the years.
No, he fucking did not. Are these books still, like, in circulation? It has a 1-star rating! Oh my god, it's only $4. Publication date, March 4th of 2016. Is there a way for me to, like, read a section? Are there reviews? Oh, of course we're gonna read the reviews. Oh wait, no, these are just tags. Okay, so there's nothing there. What is Goodreads?
Brick by brick about Mario 3 and his grandma cancer.
Wait, what is this? Oh no, that's just him describing what he does. Okay. Reviews. 1-star review. I want to see. Let me read the reviews. Come on. Why would you do this? Why would you lock me out? There's 2 1-star reviews. Oh, no one has reviewed the book. Damn, bro. I need to know. I need to know.
Years. The most notable was Super Mario Bros. 3, a brick by brick. It's gone viral for several excerpts comparing notable gaming moments to world-changing historical events. The climactic reveal of Super Mario Bros. 3 is burned, no, seared into my memory, the way JFK's assassination was for my parents' generation.
That's the best thing I've read all day. It's the best thing I've read all day. Super Mario Bros. 3 is more important than the JFK assassination.
Or the way 9/11 would be for mine.
I didn't see the 9/11 part. 9/11 was less impactful than Super Mario Bros. 3 on the American psyche. It's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
A scant 12 years from then. In my memories, the Great Console Wars dragged on like my own private Vietnam.
I need to read this book. I need to read this book. I might go buy it. I might unironically buy that book. I have to buy the book. I have to. You don't understand, chat. Please. I'm gonna go buy it. I'm gonna buy the book online. I don't care. After the stream's over, it's being delivered to my fucking house. Fuck this shit. I need to read this book in its entirety. Oh my god.
And it didn't help that I was still constantly in trouble at school and in and out of therapy for anger, attention, and authority issues. However, it really only lasted a couple of years. This book is deceptively personal, giving more insight to his early years. He was seeing a child therapist who tried to prescribe medication, only for his parents to reject it. These games were his only refuge from the constant bullying.
Live stream while reading it? I don't know. Thank you, Jack. Appreciate that. I will be buying it. Maybe I'll do it on live stream. Maybe it'll be a members only stream, just reading the book to you all like you're fucking children or something.
Bullying, a loyalty he carried for life. After about 20 minutes of waiting, I was joined by another pair of early birds, a young mother and her 2 children. One was a boy of about 6 or 8, and the other was a toddler whose gender was—
I found a PDF version downloaded. Oh. Tag me on Twitter if you have a Twitter Redis drummer, or if you're in the Discord, just fucking tag me there.
Was undeterminable. I got the sense that we may have been there.
What was it? If you do that, you need a smoky jacket, a cigar, and whiskey. Okay. If I get the book And if you become a member, I will unironically dress in a suit jacket, have a fake cigar because I can't smoke real cigars in my apartment, and do a members only live stream reading of maybe the funniest book that I have ever been presented in my entire life.
For the same thing, and I could tell this despite the fact that we only said hello to one another. Not by some psychic intuition, I stress, but because the boy was making it pretty clear. He was excitable to the point of bouncing, and his attire told the rest of the tale.
Yeah, I'm not in either one of those servers, Reddit drummer, so sorry, bro.
Mario t-shirt, Mario baseball cap, Mario backpack, even Mario sneakers. I looked down at him, smiled, nodded. He looked up at me, realizing, before I did honestly, that I also happened to be wearing a Mario shirt.
He sees a little kid, he sees a mother and their children, and he notices that the kid's wearing Mario attire and he's wearing it too. Does that not, like, realize? Don't you realize that you're a fucking adult wearing that shit?
One from my era, Super Mario Bros. 2 character select screen to be precise, with a look of quizzical surprise. This big older guy knows Mario 2? Yes I do, kid. Yes I do. His near fanaticism with the Japanese developer is undoubtedly apparent by now. When their magazine Nintendo Power shuttered in 2012, he held a full 12 minutes of silence to mourn its demise.
No, he fucking didn't. You're lying to me. He did not take 12 whole minutes to mourn a magazine. Bullshit.
It even assured viewers there is no joke.
This is on par with Chibi saying that fucking song for the Nintendo developer, or no, the Nintendo president. That's on par. This is on par with Chibi singing, bro. Chibi singing was a level of cringe that was unnecessary. But this is interesting. He did it 3 times.
Someone that loves Mario, WTF.
3 times, dude.
Coming, and to respect the end of an era.
Why is he dressed in a wig? Why does he look like Wings but skinnier in all of these outfits?
While able to subsist off Patreon, in 2016 he was hired onto...
Of course he was leeching off of Patreon. That's what Spoonie did. Spoonie just leeched off of Patreon for years until people started pulling their funding. What is with these guys just leeching off of Patreon?
Screen Rant's news team. He kept making videos for sites like Screw Attack.
Should be saying an anime song at his dad's funeral? Yeah. Didn't he show like a Bleach AMV during his dad's funeral or something? Didn't one of his friends come out and say that he did that? Like, he got up to, like, talk about his dad, and he just played, like, a Bleach AMV. I fucking love Chibi.
Surviving as an independent...
Why don't I have Patreon? I did have it at one point when I, like, first started. And nobody subscribed to it, so I just deleted it. Because why do I need Patreon when I have memberships on a YouTube channel? I was doing Twitch at the time. And I'm making decent enough money due to your guys' generosity. There's no reason for me to get a membership. I mean, for you guys to get a Patreon. Basically, memberships are fine. And my memberships are cheap. They're $2.99. That's cheaper than every single commentary YouTube channel's fucking memberships.
Independent critic. However, this is also where he started getting a lot of backlash. That's because Bob made a ton of inflammatory tweets about Trump supporters, who he didn't consider worthy of being human. If you voted Trump because you're disenfranchised, you've only proved that you deserve to be so. You're a failed human. All right-wing Americans are unsalvageable. Failed humans is crazy, bro. Crazy. Humans. Reject them and push them out. His rhetoric focused on them being mediocre.
Okay, let me read this like a fucking school shooter. The dark irony being then lower than filth. Ignorant troglodytes who vote for conservatives won't be saved by them either. I'm going to Virginia Tech next. I fucking love it. It's on Twitter. All right, I'll take a peek in a little bit.
Troglodytes.
But I may save that for a members only stream.
While asserting his own superiority.
So become a member now if you want to watch me read a complete schizophrenic's book.
The best day that will ever happen to humanity will be the moment when physical strength becomes meaningless, and intellectual worth and creative vision become the only measures of human being to be considered. This led people...
But, like, that's been the way for, like, generations now, is that intellect brings in more money. Once the technological boom happened in the United States, that became the main focus. Strength isn't really, like, the biggest fucking thing. It's important, incredibly important, but you have to be smart. It's been a thing forever. I don't know what this motherfucker's talking about.
people to spam his replies with a photo of his old Mario costume. It was to the point that even other left-wingers were telling him to shut up. With that said, there was a brief show of unity following the
He thinks he's a super genius. Of course he does.
death of Total Biscuits after a long battle of cancer. He was very respectful, which even his own ardent critics had to give him credit for. It may sound like the bare minimum, but you'd be surprised on the internet. Shortly after Bob was fired, the Escapist went through a series of layoffs from their parent Defy Media, which would eventually go bankrupt. By late 2017, its closure seemed imminent, being reduced to Yahtzee and a dwindling number of volunteers. That changed in 2018 with its purchase by Enthusiast Gaming. The new owners brought back former editor-in-chief Russ Pitts, who left in 2011 to co-found Polygon. He was tasked with a complete relaunch of the site. That started with the return of one of his good old friends, MovieBob. To commemorate this, Bob elaborated on his original departure. I would later be told second and third hand that said owner was at this point in contact with various fixtures in the right-wing alt-right media, names you'd know. And that talk of ousting me specifically had come up, but didn't initially happen because—
Wait, so he was fired because of his political leanings? I weirdly don't believe that.
I was at that point producing a substantial amount of the site's still profitable content, as name creators and contributors had been fleeing amid the mess. Though, as I said, I can't confirm that firsthand
Then why the fuck are you say anything, you lolcow?
myself, and it's not really germane anymore. It's worth emphasizing these are only allegations with no actual proof. This post also addressed his bizarre old tweets which had just resurfaced. He denied being a eugenicist, surmising that was an edgy bad joke. The context was his frustration at dealing with crowds and traffic. He then
We need eugenics because LA is too crowded. Kind of based.
offered some insight to why he constantly picked fights on Twitter. Suffice to say, what's in my blood when it comes to any kind of conflict is, you hit me, I hit back. You tell me to f*** off, I tell you to f*** off. You talk about my mother, I talk about your mother. I apologize for the times I stepped over the line from giving jerks back what they gave and being a jerk myself. My aim going forward is to have less of that happening in general. Whatever the case, Bob was able to resume his series under their original mantles. Evidently, there was no expectation from the Escapist to change his tone as he only used more extreme rhetoric. This led him to descend further in notoriety, and now seemingly advocating for violence.
What?
I found a closed fist to be a solid place to start, though there's plenty of variety beyond that. At the end
This dude cannot beat anyone up. Do you see this motherfucker? A closed fist? Alright, bro. Oh, no! I need this. This dude is talking about fighting people. This dude would be terrified if he got into an actual
led him
fight.
to descend further in notoriety, and now seemingly advocating for violence. I found a closed fist to be a solid place to start, though there's plenty of variety beyond that. At the end of the day, they're just bones and meat, and sufficiently cowed, most will stifle before you have to break any of that. So long.
That's insane.
Humans, and then he proceeds to support eugenics. Due to being mad at traffic, you can't make this shit up
That is the funniest logic tree.
As long as they're convinced you would. The most infamous was a thread claiming they had robbed him of living out his sci-fi fantasies. 2019. I was supposed to be on a starship by now.
Did he really think that? He has to be joking. There's no way he actually meant that. He thought in 2019 he was conversing with intelligent robots and being on a starship. How autistic is this guy? Like, genuinely. He was robbed of the future he was promised. Is crazy.
Conversing with intelligent robots, deciding what sort of body I'd like to upload my immortal consciousness to. Instead, we're all still on this f***ing rock, wondering how to placate the white working class. I'll never forgive the troglodytes who stole the future I earned to prolong—
That he earned? He writes blogs. He makes stupid skit YouTube videos. How did you earn that, Bob? How did you earn that? You make skit videos for a living. You didn't earn shit. You ain't building robots and starships and fucking shit like that. You're making movie reviews.
their worthless
Why does he think he's so important?
existence. I'm out of patience. There's no worth in the backward people. They could all be Thanos from existence tomorrow, and we'd not lose a single person of value or decency.
So he says, I'm not in support of eugenics, but then makes a eugenics argument. Or like a mass genocide argument, okay?
There's no separation of shades between the ignorant and the wicked. This got a ton of backlash from across the political aisle, with the podcast Chapo Trap House weighing in. The group went on to satirize him in their book with the page describing the movie Blob. Bob surprisingly took it on the chin, even admitting they were usually pretty funny.
Hell, Razor Fist is usually funny. Ooh. That's another thing that did not age well. Razorfist got bullied off of the Side Scrollers podcast because he decided to throw in his lot with Melanie fucking retard Mac. Oof. Rough.
Funny. This wasn't the only caricature to circulate, though, with his likeness being a new Wojak called the Consumer. Thinks watching comic book movies is doing politics. Poor white people are suffering in the Midwest. Should have consumed the correct product. Unironically thinking of doing video game reviews of...
Bro, memes were so simple back then. They were so simple. Now it's just like all fucking deep fried bullshit. Wait, for real? Yeah, so I don't watch the Side Scrollers. So if you want to, like, I'll make it super fast. From what I understand, Side Scrollers put together their own version of the Video Game Awards. It was a joke. Everyone lambasted it. To be honest, I think Craig scammed people on its face. And then Melanie Mac had a terrible tweet talking about how people that want gooning material in their video games are like horrible people or whatever, even though that she was fighting on behalf of Stellar Blade, a game that is 99.9% gooning material. And she like went back on her values, got pushback for that. Then Razorfist goes on to the stream with Side Scrollers, and the chat is shitting on him because he's defending Melanie Mac. And then he got so ass mad that he left the show and he's not going to be a host again. And then also apparently he groomed somebody, allegedly. I have no fucking idea about that, but like, go watch somebody who knows about it.
Movies for children is a significant contribution to society. He even became a reoccurring joke on the podcast EFAP, who coined the nickname for...
EFAP? It's EFAP! What? Gamer from Mars! You need to go on EFAP, bro. I would kill for a Gamer from Mars EFAP episode.
Contribution to society. He even became a reoccurring joke on the podcast EFAP, who coined the nickname for him Diabito. One of their bits included
Diabito!
Quiz asking viewers to guess if a quote was from MovieBob or a selection of excerpts from Mein Kampf and neo-Nazi website.
Oh god! The Twitcher terrorist of the past! That's crazy!
There was a completely new wave of people who had no idea who Bob was outside of his tweets. This is reflected in the numerous posts simply asking for his best hits to catch them up to speed with MovieBob lore. I'll go through some of the most popular MovieBobisms now, since there isn't really a way to explain these chronologically. In March of 2020, Bob responded to a viral tweet that read, "Somebody offers you $3,500 to finish everything on this tray in 90 minutes. Could you do it?" The image shows 4 double cheeseburgers, 2 orders of chicken nuggets, 2 large fries, and 4 medium soda.
If you got rid of the sodas, I probably could do this. If you got rid of the sodas.
Bob replied, "That's a fairly small amount of McDonald's for..."
No way. He did not respond to this. He did... This fat fuck did not respond this way. No way. Holy shit.
For an average-sized person, I'd say. The main reason fast food...
An average person. That's so gross to think about.
Cook so fast and lasts so short is that there isn't much density to it. I wouldn't want to eat a double helping of nuggets in that time frame, but I could easily. This went viral across several different sites, with some calling it the MovieBob Challenge. In an old video, Bob said his favorite hobby was baking. Over the years, he shared some of his home-prepped meals. Mountain Dew marinated chicken with mango/carrots.
Oh, what the fuck is that? That's chicken? That's chicken. See, Leon's gonna come in here and be like, white people cooking chicken. That's how he's gonna go about this. I swear to God, Leon's gonna be like, white people cooking chicken. That's what it always looks like. What do you mean, Chris? White people always cook shit like that. I half expect Leon to do that. This is gross. It looks like grease on a plate. It doesn't even look like chicken.
Spicy rice, roast whole chicken, and marinated 3 days of Mountain Dew.
Marinated 3 days of Mountain Dew stuffed with lemon. This has to be a joke. This can't be real. I can't believe that. I can't believe he cooked this. I can't believe that.
Stuffed with lemon, lime, and kiwi, olive oil, salt, pepper rub. In regards to food on other occasions, he stated, "Tasty cooking isn't always pretty cooking. This double vacuum sealed marinade bag contains an entire chicken that's been fridge marinated in a mix of 3 different hot sauces, sriracha, and hot taco seasonings for 5 days.
Hot taco seasoning? Why would you ever do that?
Tonight I roast with savory sausage stuffing, fingers crossed." Another thing dug up from the archives was his love for Pabst Blue Ribbon, the staple beer.
Oh my god, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh my god, Gamer from Mars. Okay. Okay, listen, a lot of my friends drink the Pabst Blue Ribbon because it's cheap. It's really funny to laugh at them when they drink it. It's really funny. It's so hipster. It's so hipster, bro. Anyone that drinks Pabst Blue Ribbon, unironically, is either a hipster or they're broke. Remember that if you're out drinking and you see that.
Of millennial hipsters. One photo shows he had a cute...
That's too much Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's way too much. Like, your friend brings over a case of like a 6-pack of it and it accidentally gets left in your fridge. There's maybe 4 left. That makes more sense to me. This is unholy. This is like Ant Venom drinking Soylent to me. This is Ant Venom drinking Soylent.
Accumulated enough empty cans to fill 2 trash bags. The rest were stored next to a window, approximately 84 in total.
Why?
I mean, I'm a slob. I have a windowsill that I use to have empty beer cans. But even I know that floors are not shelves. When asked why he was hoarding them, he said it was for deposit money.
Deposit money? He's gonna go to the fucking can bank. He's gonna go and turn in the cans for money.
Took a tragic turn when a gust of wind knocked 100 empty beverage cans all over the kitchen floor. The thing is,
that's so disgusting. Wait, is he cleaning those properly? Because if he isn't cleaning those properly, you're gonna get like fungus and mold on the inside of them. The fermenting beer smell is just horrible. Like, why not just throw out the cans? Why not just throw out the cans? The amount of time it takes to clean a beer can out, and that many beer cans, you could have just deposited them at the fucking bank the day of. I hope he washes them out.
These tweets are separated by 5 years. So I have to ask myself if he had been accumulating them for all this time. There really is no end to this low-stakes absurdity, with the film critic constantly getting baited and ratioed. The most serious attempt to reason with him was from none other than H-Bomber Guy. He wrote a long post.
You have got to be fucking kidding me. H-Bomber Guy. Fucking hell, I hate this guy so much. I hate H-Bomber Guy so fucking much. Okay, it was really quite useful that you wrote this, because now I finally understand what you're missing in this equation. You don't seem to grasp that offshoring jobs isn't just a bad thing happening to the worthless people I don't like in red states. Why are the jobs being offshored? Multiple people have been exploited in different ways at once. The jobs are being sent overseas because overseas they exploit their workers more and can pay them even less. Red states didn't fail to innovate. They're being punished for the moral failures you see in the entire population. They are experiencing a real problem as a result of global capitalism. Communist gobbledygook.
Trying to change his mind on the subject of offshoring jobs, only to be dismissed entirely. This further...
Okay, I need to see how he responded to that.
...trying to change his mind on the subject of offshoring jobs, only to be...
What he said, smart, but this ignores the fact that politicians don't send jobs overseas. This is a myth perpetrated by the right to debase left-wing labor movements' attempts to improve equality for the life of home. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Did you seriously just wait for someone to post a flawed reply to a quote tweet that is a response instead of introspecting a single moment about the link between exploitation here and developing nations, how supporting one, supporting the other? Bro, you made H-Bomber Guy look good. How did you do that?
Dismissed entirely. This further soured people who may have otherwise given him the benefit of the doubt. In late 2020, Bob ranted about how Trump had stolen his summer, Halloween, and ability to enjoy it.
Stole his summer and Halloween
itself for 4 years. He then revealed his departure from the Escapist.
Wait, for 4 years he wasn't able to enjoy a summer or a Halloween because of Donald J. Trump. MovieBob has been trapped in the crystal. He's in the crystal now.
All those years ago left him in debt. People who would later help him steal the presidency in the first place ruined my professional life and put me in a debt hole I'm still only barely back from.
Wait, Donald Trump didn't do that to you. You got fired from your job and didn't get another job. That's not the president's fault. That's your fault. You know, you can still enjoy holidays if there's like a shitty president, right? It's the point of holidays. It's a day for you to forget. It's a day for you to enjoy things. It's a day for you to enjoy the people around you and the events around you, you know? To forget about all that shit. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you let something like that control your life.
For years. F them all. The next day, he caught flack for defending the controversial Netflix.
No! Not another one! Not another one. Not another Cuties defender. Not another one!
Film Cuties. Now,
I refuse to read that out loud because I am going to be clipped out of context.
Them all. The next day, he caught flack for defending the
Still trying to make Cuties as a pedophile film. It is Cuties as a pedophile film. It's like viewable free for weeks. Everyone who matters, either seen it, heard the review, knows what actually is there, and they're lying. The idiot bubble is unreal. No!
Controversial Netflix film, Cuties. Now, what must be understood is that by this point, Russ Pitt was no longer at The Escapist. This is because in 2019, he wrote an op-ed about ethics in gaming journalism. It was controversial for suggesting there may have been truth to Gamergate's stated intent. This led many to try and discredit him for the site's previous decisions, despite again having left in 2011. That included Zoe Quinn, who said, "You literally revived the Gamergate hub of a website and didn't bother contacting me, or anyone else I know who actually was at the center of Gamergate for this piece." Pitts responded, "Sorry Zoe, I genuinely thought you'd probably be over this being all about you. I'll be sure to check in next time."
Damn! What the fuck? Zoe Quinn, man. Total bitch.
This received so much backlash that the article was removed and Pitts took a voluntary leave of absence. He was eventually replaced by Nick Calandra.
Nick Calandra is that guy. I fucking remember. Nick Calandra is the guy that now runs Second Wind. And if you just look up anything involving Nick Calandra's dramas over the past few years, you're gonna be like, how the fuck is Yahtzee working for this guy? If I'm being like brutally honest.
Managing director of video. The reason all of this is important is because in late 2020, The Escapist once again chose not to renew their contract with MovieBob. An exact reason was never given, with only a pinned comment disavowing all the people celebrating his departure.
I sneezed and fucking... Oh god, that was bad.
Bob's statement implies it was simply business, as it didn't make financial sense for him anymore.
Long story short and straight to the point, Enthusiast Gaming and The Escapist and MovieBob Productions have not renewed the contract by which my material was appearing once again on The Escapist for the last couple of years. Kind of a bummer on my end, I have to assume also on theirs. You know, it's been a tough year for everyone, business is business.
This time around, they returned all the rights to his work, giving him complete control over his back catalog. That, at the very least, allowed him to re-upload old videos to his own channel. But it was only going to get worse for the ex-freelancer. On November 10th, YouTuber Lindsay Ellis joked about having a group chat. "I know, right? I've uncovered the conspiracy of people being friends with their peers." Then Bob replied with a photo of the two together with the caption, "I, for one, am positively shocked." This lighthearted remark was seen in a different light when the video essayist responded. "This is honestly really inappropriate and creepy, dude. A selfie at a con several years ago does not mean we are friends. Also, the fact that I have soft-blocked you like 6 times and you—
Oh, he's a stalker. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't know this. Ooh.
Always refollow is creepy. Take the hint, and please leave me alone. Bob tweeted he felt borderline gaslit before—
He felt borderline gaslit. Dude, she has unfollowed you multiple times and somehow this makes it borderline gaslit. This is amazing. I'm not planning to say anything further publicly here on Twitter about what I imagine many people want to ask me about, other than to say I feel deeply hurt, confused, and borderline gaslighted. But that I won't push for explanations that may invite irritation.
His account. The exchange quickly went viral, with the entire internet taking—
Bob went to the end because Lindsay quit the internet. Well, yeah, because Lindsay, now that I remember the name, Lindsay Ellis, was Lindsay Ellis the nostalgia chick? Am I misremembering that? Oh, she was. Okay. So didn't Lindsay make a music video about rape for a skit? Didn't she also do that? She did like a rape skit. And she left the internet after the rape skit. Abortion? I thought it was a rape skit. Bro, I need to find that now. Fuck the Destiny video. I don't care about fucking this shit. Lindsay Ellis rape skit. I don't know if it's still a thing. Rape rap.
But sadly, it doesn't exist on the internet anymore.
If you're rapping, you're probably not raping at any given time. So here we have my friend and yours, convicted rapist Ryan, who's going to
convicted rapist Ryan.
help us on our little experiment.
Hey, can I rap about rape? Sweet. Cool. All right, this is gonna be great.
Or perhaps I do. Oh, what do you know? The rape rap video does yes.
We're gonna skip.
Yo, I'm set up porno taping. I need it like a wild ape ad. My penis is bent and misshapen, so I'm spending my nights out raping. Put my hand on your mouth, cause I don't.
Somebody needs to send this into Oreo and say, open this as your fucking rape review thing.
Like noise. I just use cause I toys. In your like a pond full of coys.
Really? It had to be censored?
But no teen witch, cause I don't like boys. I always struck out with women, more or less. I never got no action. My life was a mess till I found the secret to my success. 'Cause in my world, baby, no means yes. Yo, P-Cash, take it to the bridge.
It almost...
Realize that the woman in this photo is the same woman that made a rape rap with this guy. The rape rap is fucking crazy. I fucking love that so much. Oh, God.
Ellis doubled down in creepy dude. A selfie at a con several years ago does not mean we are friends. Also, the fact that I have soft blocked you like 6 times and you always refollow is creepy. Take the hint, and please leave me alone. Bob tweeted he felt borderline gaslit before privating his account. The exchange—
Do you want some lore on the channel awesome after the Bob video? Maybe. Send it anyways, I'll consider it.
quickly went viral, with the entire internet taking a moment to laugh from afar. Lindsay Ellis doubled down further, refusing to apologize before stating he had made her uncomfortable for years. I'm not about to accept responsibility for any dog piles that happen as a result of me having to publicly tell him to leave me alone. I unfollowed him years ago because of how toxic he is. I slept on it a full 24 hours before I decided how to handle it. Even blocking him wasn't going to stop him from broadcasting to the world this delusion that he and I are friends. And I want it to be public that I don't condone the things he says. No, it's not okay. With all that, it wasn't long until Bob returned and went back to business as usual. It didn't seem to dissuade him from making tweets calling others man-children and incels. Ellis herself was cancelled a few months later for tweets about the Disney film Raya and the Last Dragon. The ultimately baseless accusations of racism led her to leave Twitter, with some using it to declare that Bob won. Lindsay later made a video addressing the scandal and cancel culture. That included an apology to MovieBob, regretting her actions after the entire ordeal.
Like, one other person I owe an apology to is MovieBob. I told him on Twitter to leave me alone because he was acting like a creep by being overfamiliar and continually signaling to the world that we're friends, and he—
So Bob won! He won! Oh!
He was acting like a creep, and we're not friends, but I would have never done that if I had known that the Diet Nazis were going to turn that into a meme.
The Diet Nazis were going to turn that into a meme. Oh my God, Bob did win. Bob won! Holy shit, Bob!
I don't like a lot of what he says on Twitter either, but please stop using my face to torture this man. Leave him alone.
While it may seem like Bob was hitting a low point, that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, later that year, he was hired by MatPat to write for Film Theory.
What?
This is because in 2019, he correctly predicted Wanda was going to be a villain in the MCU.
Heck, one of our writers knew that Wanda was going to be the villain back in 2019 before Endgame release and before he started working with us. True story, that theory of his is actually the reason that he's on the team now. Glad to have you with us, Bob.
Somehow, after all this, Bob managed to achieve a bigger gig than he ever had before, being a staple writer of their channel to this very day. While Bob was riding high, writing videos loved by millions, in late 2023, the Escapist saw an exodus of talent, with Yahtzee resigning.
I did not know that MovieBob is working with MatPat. That's crazy.
Because the meltdowns.
That's a crazy update. I did not expect to hear that MovieBob was a part of fucking MatPat. Oh, this abortion thing was she had sex with either Todd in the shadow or Spoonie and aborted the fetus. It probably was Spoonie because of the meltdowns. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
After 16 years. Their editor-in-chief was abruptly fired, leading the entire video team to resign. They ended up going independent together under the name Second Wind. Having lost the rights to Zero Punctuation, he rebranded to Fully Ramblo-matic. Bob weighed in to spit on the site's grave. It really is impressive that the Escapist continues to end up being bought and run by the dumbest and most evil melon farmers on the planet. This time even managing to chase off their OG, a defining star. Just an incredible streak of blown second chances. And with that, we've reached the end of the story so far.
Total Bob domination. He's a total fucking lolcow. It's really funny, actually. But like Bob W. Bob's now working for MatPat, bro. You can't get any higher on the scale of cool shit to do in your life. As a movie review critic or a theory critic, you can't go any higher. The W. He turned it around. He was a lolcow and now he's a writer for MatPat. What a saga. What a saga for Bob. Bob W all around. He beat Lindsay Ellis, bro. That's crazy.
Hey guys, thank you for watching the clip. Thank you, Core, for doing the editing. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. Check out the link in the description for the Lolcow trading card game. There's a brand new pack called Series X. That pack has my card in it, the tipster cards as well. On top of that, there's a bunch of other cast of characters in there, and we're also working towards an ultimate goal for that. So make sure you guys click on the link below. We're going to try and upload daily here and do live streams pretty often, so make sure you stick around and hit that like button. Thanks, guys.